Welcome to Ascending with Venus Castleberg, a space where we explore the journey of spiritual awakening, expanding your consciousness and raising your frequency to create a whole new world. We'll dive into the possibilities that open up when you choose to follow the whispers and trust your inner knowing. Each episode is designed to guide you in expanding your awareness, tuning into your intuition, and discovering the magic of your life every day. We'll talk about living aligned with your soul's purpose, going beyond limitations, and creating a life and a world worth celebrating. You are here to embrace who you truly are and step into the infinite potential that's waiting for you. Let's ascend together. And now, here is your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Nice to see you here today. Hi, Kimberly. I was like, wow, I haven't talked to you guys in a couple of weeks. I was like, great, because I was out last week. But super happy to have you all here today and be here with you today talking about the ascension process, ascending from the third dimension to the seventh dimension. There's quite a lot. Hi, Philip. Nice to have you here. One of the things I've actually noticed is, and it's probably why, we now have a show called Ascending, is this isn't necessarily mainstream topic. This isn't like a bunch of people are talking about spiritual awakening. Now, there are some, right? And there are some of you that are going through a spiritual awakening right now, but there's not a lot of information out there. And I guess you could Google it and find some stuff, but I haven't found a lot of people talking about it. At different times in my life, different people have talked about it, but there's a lot of not really even understanding what it's all about. Or, what is this thing ascending? What are we ascending? What's spiritual awakening? What is it? And I think those are great questions because people really aren't talking about it, not much, right? So I was like, okay, what sort of awareness can we bring to this process that we're all going through naturally, but we may not know what we're going through? We have these experiences and these things that are happening, and some people are suddenly clairvoyant, or they're having this awakening. That's what it's called, right? It's that's happening, and then they're like, well, what do I do with this? I'm suddenly I can see spirits, hear spirits, feel spirits. Whoa, what do I do with that? I did an ascension process this weekend on my partner, and it was actually quite fun because his third eye opened, and he was like, oh, this is weird. Right? But of course, it's going to feel weird if you've never seen the electric grid that we're all connected by. Of course, it's going to feel weird if suddenly you start, seeing spirits as they walk in the room, or you feel them and you were always kind of oblivious. The ascension process isn't just for a select few. We're all going through it. We're just all going through it at our own pace, in our own time. So everybody's going through a spiritual awakening. Some of them are slower and going through it at a much more unconscious rate. And then some of us are very aware and very awake and, having a lot more of spiritual experience with it. Neither one of those is right or wrong, good or bad. I'm not better than anyone because of where I am on my journey. I'm just on my journey, and you're on your journey, whatever your journey is. And it's such a great, so the book, The Prophet, some of you may have read it, or hello, or seen the movie. They actually did a low budget movie. God, this must have been, holy cow, now I'm really aging myself. probably 30 years ago. But I referenced that movie. And I want to go back and watch it again because it was so good. Because what happened in that movie was there was a spiritual awakening. There was an ascension process happening. Hi, Patty. Nice to have you. And there was people living on the third dimension. And third dimension is physical reality, duality, separation, right? A lot of our wars are fought in the third dimension. There's this like, I'm getting chills. And when I get chills, there's like this confirmation of information and stuff. It's just, and I'm always like, oh, that's so cool. So in this movie, there's still people living in the third dimension, fighting their wars and stuff like that. But there are people that are ascending to the other dimensions. Fourth dimension, emotions become more fluid. Spiritual awareness grows. Hi, Amy. It's called The Prophet. It was off of the book, The Prophet. But anyway, the reference is there was these people, and they started to go through their own spiritual awakening and their own ascension process, and started to find themselves in the fifth dimension, which is unity, love, higher consciousness. But what was cool about it was that they were all living on the earth. There was just a different frequency, a different vibration happening. The people who were in the fifth dimension, which a lot of us already are, especially if you're watching this, you're probably already there. Hi, Christina, welcome. But there's a frequency that you vibrate, that you are in the fifth dimension, that the third dimension can't even see, can't even perceive, because they're still in that lower vibration. Not better than, I'm really big on like, let's not judge where people are on their process because they're learning. Hi, Bob, welcome. A great way to tell, like, if you're not a serial killer in this life, it's because you were in another life and you realized you didn't like that and you chose something different. So I don't judge where people are in this life because that's just where they are in this life. They just haven't learned or remembered that there's a different choice possible. So if people are still operating in the third dimension, and I it's all fluid, right? So we kind of, sometimes we dip in and find ourselves, I don't want to, like, maybe you got angry at your spouse or something like that. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to be in that vibration. So I choose a different vibration. I choose to raise my vibration to where emotions and feelings are more fluid, which is fourth dimension, or unity and love and higher consciousness, which is fifth dimension. So in that movie, they were just coexisting on the same planet without really a reference to. And I think some of you may have been there before, where I personally, I'll probably get some flack for this, but it's okay. I don't mind. You can give me flack. I literally, when I was 19 years old, realized how much television drained me, and how I just chose at 19 years old to stop watching television, to stop watching the news, and commercials and news especially. Of course, 20, 30, 40, no, I'm not that old, but 20 or 30 years later, they come up with things like Netflix, where you can watch shows that don't have commercials. I still, to this day, I do watch some shows and movies, but I still, to this day, do not watch the news, and I do not watch commercials. Now, that's because I knew, or even way back then, that that energy was an energy I didn't want to be a part of. Now, if there's something like really major in the world, I don't have to watch the news to hear about it. Somebody will tell me, or I'll hear about it, through something, right? So, um, yep, cool. But I just know that, like, I don't need to watch news that isn't uplifting people, that isn't and grateful for people. It's just about judgment and tearing people down. They're not wrong, but I know in order for me to keep my vibration higher, for me to stay in the fifth dimension, that I can't be dipping my toes in that energy, right? And that's just me. That's just a choice that I made a long time ago, and I've never regretted it. Not once. As a matter of fact, when 9/11 happened, I didn't have television and didn't have news and all this stuff. And I remember that day trying to get on my computer, but my computer wasn't working right. Like I couldn't, but what I was so far removed from news and stuff like that that I couldn't even understand what was happening on my computer. Um, so I shut my computer down and I decided to go to the gym. And it was at the gym that, 24 TV screens were playing it over and over and over again. And I actually stopped going to that gym. Like I was like, I definitely didn't need to see it that much, right? It's like, but that was the news. The news just kept replaying it over and over and over again. And I'm like, yeah, that was tough. And I'm not uncompassionate at all. And it was sad. And we lost a lot of people that day, like all that stuff, right? And everything that came after it. I have total compassion for it. But do I need to go down and be in the trenches with it? Do I need to drag myself into that lower vibration? Or can I resonate a higher vibration that invites other people to do the same? Because as you vibrate at a higher dimension, a higher reality, a higher frequency, other people realize that's a possibility. Like I have had many people over the years be like, "Oh, I don't have to watch the news." Like it like registered for them, like just clicked for them. I'm like, "Oh, I don't have to like stay up on current events all the time." You don't. It's a choice. Um, and like I said, just for me, it made me feel I just felt drained and worse after after anything with commercials um, or news. So this as we are in this process of ascending, we are moving from duality, which is third dimension, right? Third dimension's right and wrong, good and bad, and moving into oneness. Like it's an awareness. It's an awareness of here's this lower frequency where you hang on to like old beliefs. A great question you can be asking is like if you're like feeling like you're operating in third dimension a little bit, you can ask, what beliefs do I still hold that keep me in the third dimension? Because there's some programming, belief, story you've learned that you keep adopting. And maybe that's the news is just an example of one of them, right? So, um, my dad was an advocate like for, news and all that stuff. So he would have thought, you need to stay up on current events. So if I keep buying that belief, then I'll find myself still stuck in that third dimension belief system, right, wrong, good, bad, all of that stuff, right? But as you start to let go of those beliefs or let go of those things that keep you at that lower frequency, there's now this invitation to step up, to take it another level. And if you move then into the fourth dimension, like I mentioned, emotions become fluid, which means emotions will still come up. You'll still have feelings, you'll still have things that happen. And but it's like it stays fluid. You don't latch onto it. Like in the third dimension, we latch onto things. We're like, oh, that's wrong. Like, I don't feel good today. That's bad. Instead of, oh, I don't feel good today. Okay, that's okay. It's just another day. Tomorrow's a new day. What would it take to feel better? Right. And then fourth, you're also moving into like your spiritual awareness grows. um, your intuitive abilities start to develop. There's definitely healing and clearing of old patterns that happen in this dimension. And then as you move into the fifth dimension, we're looking at, like I said, unity, love, greater consciousness. Sometimes I try to stay away from the word higher consciousness. I still say it sometimes, but because we're such literal beings, like we take things so literally, we tend to believe that higher is better instead of the next level. It's just the next level. It's not better than, it's just the next level. And you have a choice of like, do you want to be in that lower frequency or a higher frequency? So you can ask a question in the fifth dimension. You can ask, how could my life change if I operated more from love and connection rather than fear? Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. um, yeah, so how can we operate more from love instead of fear? How can we see things more as possibilities instead of problems? What if far more is available if we just move past this linear thinking of right and wrong, good and bad, you know, resistance? Third dimension definitely brings up resistance, where you see something you don't like and then you resist against it instead of having allowance for it. Are there things in the world that are not great and I don't like them? Sure, but I don't resist against them. I just have this level of allowance, which is maybe one of the greatest gifts we could give each other and brings us into that unity and that oneness a lot faster if we could have allowance and gratitude for each other instead of that resisting and reacting. Like relationships are a big one for most people. Like it's like we can judge our partners all the time, but to find something we're grateful for our partners about is more challenging. But if you're in that vibration of gratitude, you're more in the higher, greater dimensions. You're in a different frequency because gratitude and judgment can't live in the same place. They always have to, like gratitude will always negate judgment. So if you find yourself judging, just be like, okay, stop. It's a lower frequency. What am I grateful for? And move yourself into a different frequency. Cool. And because I forgot to say it in the beginning, I am here live. So if any of this is triggering questions for you, or you want me to talk to you about something specific about this, or any questions, I welcome them all. You can either put questions in the comments, but it's also really nice to talk to people sometimes. So if you're bold enough, brave enough, I dare you to call in 202-757. We'll post it in the comments because now I can't remember the number, but we'll post it in the comments in a second. So yeah, but give me a thumbs up if this is making sense. If you guys are getting something, just send me an emoji or something like, are you tracking? Have I lost you all completely? Are you like, you're like, I have no idea what she's talking about. She's talking about, because I know sometimes when we use words like consciousness or ascending or awakening, like there's this, it's almost like sometimes we shut down because it's a word that we haven't heard a lot of, or we haven't really heard, about this process very much. So we tend to check out because we aren't familiar with it. So thank you, Carol. Thank you, Kimberly, for somebody's tracking. That's awesome. I just like to know that, at least it makes somewhat sense to everybody. And the phone number, if you'd like to call in and talk to me, is 202-570-7057. So thank you, Christina. Yep, I'm grateful for that. Okay, good. Okay. And I love your favorite emojis. They're like, I love emojis. I don't know why. They make me happy. So if energy was your first language, which it was, right? You didn't have words when you were a baby. All you had was energy and you could communicate. We have all these energies that we're allowed, like we are invited to express now with emojis. Like, isn't that cool? Like it's an energy. It's not really a word. You get to pick up on the energy. You can always tell somebody's not happy or happy. Anyway, not that I'm saying we should all communicate 24/7 through emojis. I still believe in like good old fashioned phone calls. Let's actually talk to each other. But you know what I mean. I have a hard time settling in some places. I wonder if it's a different frequency. Awesome, Amy. Absolutely. Well, yeah, truth. What are you aware of? Yeah, there's times like I remember a time when I was really affected by being in malls. Now I can go into a mall and not be like drained in a mall, but it's because I'm not lowering my frequency to be in that energy. So that's the other thing too. Like, how much do you try to lower your frequency so that other people can relate to you instead of be the frequency that you are and invite them to raise their frequency? What is it that has us believe that we're supposed to lower ours all the time? What if the better invitation is to be at the frequency you want to be, which means joy, ease, right? Like all those things that are naturally you. And in Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas once said that, I'm sure he said it more than once, but this one time I heard him, he said that oh boy, that just went away. Okay. Right. But like how much do you try to lower yourself to match their energy when it's a greater invitation to be a different energy and invite them to that? But it's like we're taught that we're supposed to go down into the mud and into the crud and then drag people out of the crud. No. And I know you've all heard this, but how do you save a drowning person? I will tell you how not to do it. Do not jump in because they will drown you. If somebody is drowning and you jump in to try to save them, they usually drown you in a panic. So the best way to save a drowning person is to throw them something or get them to grab a stick or, something that doesn't have you jump in after them and invite them to come out from it. This is the same exact thing, just in a different way, right? It's like, what invitation, what life preserver can you toss people from being at the vibration that you're at and at the frequency and at the level, right? At whatever dimension you're vibrating at. Ever notice when you're out in nature, you feel like the whole world disappears? That's because you're in the frequency that nature vibrates at naturally, right? But nature and the earth don't have a point of view about what dimension. There's just this energy that you tap into when you're with the earth. And then there's sixth dimension. So sixth dimension is more sacred geometry and divine creativity. And then seventh dimension is where a space of pure oneness and the illusion of separation completely disappears. So if you're, well, again, I don't think you'd be watching the show if you weren't a light worker. But for all the light workers out there, there's a lot of us right now going from fifth to seventh dimension because the light workers have to go first to be the way showers, to show everybody else this other possibility. And you're inviting people all the way through, right? So you can invite people from third dimension to seventh dimension, and then there's going to be people that need to go from third to fourth to fifth. You can jump. You don't have to go through each one. And a lot of people, just for ease and maybe there's still some fear and beliefs that are still kind of holding them back. But we get to be here in the fifth and seventh dimensions, fifth, sixth, and seventh, but to throw people a life preserver, to invite them to a different possibility, to say, hey, there's a whole nother reality that's available here. If we were to really, truly accept and allow for true unity and not have separation anymore, not have duality and right and wrong and all of those things. So thank you for those of you listening to my my rant today. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back from the break, I'll answer any questions you have. This is a great time if you do have questions to call in. We'll get you in the queue so we can answer some questions after the break. Thank you for you. I'll see you soon.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome forward, everyone. And yeah, so just to kind of wrap up what I was talking about before, as we move into the seventh dimension, we could just be asking this question, even if don't feel like you're in the seventh dimension yet, you still kind of go back into duality or right and wrong and trauma and drama, whatever that stuff is, right? Like, what if you could start asking, what would it be like to exist in a state of oneness with all things? I have to say, from the times that I do, I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I still dip and weave and all those things. But when I'm in that state of oneness with all things, it's just so peaceful. There's no fight. There's no trauma, drama. There's a lot more ease and peace. So I do invite you to even just play with that question. What would it be like to be in a state of oneness with all things? Just that allowance, right? Of everything, and life still happens. It doesn't mean that there's not sucky things that still happen in life. But are you going to take those sucky things and let them keep you in a lower vibration? Or are you going to raise above them and be like, okay, yeah, that sucked, but I'm going to choose something different right now. I'm going to choose to be in oneness with all things. Some of the practical ways that you can work on your own path of ascension and how to move between dimensions, letting go of fear and resistance. We already talked about that quite a bit, but definitely that, everything you're resisting or fighting against or not an allowance for, let go of that sort of stuff. And some people ask me, well, how do I let that go? Access Conscious has a clearing statement. You can use that. Another thing that works really well is just throw it in the purple violet flame, right? Fire transforms things. So, and there's a violet flame that's actually designed to help us transform things that are no longer serving us. So just allowing yourself to toss it in the fire, right? To allow yourself to let it go. You could even imagine a big fire pit in front of you and that you're just literally throwing it in, let it burn up. And then embracing, another step or another way to help with the ascension process is embracing the love, unity, and connection with all things, right? I'm a big advocate, and it is a part of the ascension process is being in the now. It's truly, honestly, one of my favorite things in the world to do. Like to just be in the now and just ask a question. What would I like to create today? What would I like to work on right now? What would be fun for me today? And just be in the now, enjoying every moment. Enjoy. In the US right now, we're in fall, in North America anyway. Europe, I think, is in fall too, right? So the leaves are changing colors. Northern Hemisphere, to be more politically correct. The whole Northern Hemisphere is going through fall. I believe the Southern Hemisphere is going through spring. But in the fall, right, there's so much like being in the now, enjoying the changes of the weather, the changes of the leaves. I really enjoy that part. That part is really enjoyable for me, like just enjoy the beauty. And it's different in each country, state, like all the leaves are different. Like I lived in Colorado for a while and in Telluride, Colorado, and we had tons of aspens, but the colors really more like yellow to orange, right? So, but just being in the now. And we're talking about, hi Dawn, we're talking about the ascension process and ascending from third to seventh dimension. So being in the now, enjoy the present moment, whatever's there. And now, sometimes being in the now isn't going to be enjoyable because somebody's dying or you're grieving, right? Those are also things. But what if you could be in the now? I'm sure you've all heard this. Some of us have done it, right? Where we just like compartmentalized grief and we just like, oh, somebody died. And then we just put it aside and we're like, I'll deal with that later. Not necessarily being in the now, right? Being in the now would allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to feel, and then allow it to let go. Let it be fluid instead of I'll deal with that later, right? And then another part of the ascension process that you can be practicing is opening up your own divinity and your spiritual gifts. Some of you have a natural, spontaneous spiritual awakening happening right now. That's awesome. And some people want to learn it. And you can totally learn how to open your spiritual gifts. You can learn how to embrace your spiritual gifts. You can learn how to enhance your spiritual gifts. They're all a choice. And you don't have to pretend like you don't have them, because everybody has access to them. And you can start to let them grow, let them expand. Cool. And yeah, you're just know that they are available for you and your ascension process at any time. Well, since we didn't have anybody call in and ask me questions, I think we just have a bunch of really shy people. That's okay. We're going to do a meditation today, moving from duality to oneness. So find a comfortable seat. If you're driving, please do not close your eyes. It's amazing how much I feel like I have to say that, but it's probably good not to listen to meditation while you're driving in general. Like, you might know not to close your eyes, but I don't know about you. I go pretty far in my meditation, so it would be hard for me to drive and meditate. But that's just me. Maybe feeling yourself sit back in your seat and relax. Breathe in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Exhale out. Feel your feet on the floor, and maybe your hands in your lap. And let's lower the walls and barriers, even the ones we don't know about. Breathe in. Exhale out. Breathe in. And relax. And just allow yourself to include your body on this adventure. You don't need to leave your body. You don't have to rise above it. What if the ascension process could not only be easy, but also include your body? You don't have to leave your body to become enlightened. You don't have to leave your body to ascend. You can ascend with your body. And how much more fun could that be? Breathe in. Exhale out. Now invite the presence of your angels to surround you. Feel their presence and their love as they hold the space for your ascension. And if this is something you do not feel like playing with today, you can turn it off. You don't have to stay here for this. But we are going to walk through the dimensions together today. Breathe in, exhale out. Feel your feet connecting to the earth, connecting to the floor. Notice how light your body feels. Breathe in, exhale out. With each breath, becoming deeper and deeper relaxed. And let your awareness expand out, becoming one with the universe. Breathe in, exhale out. And then in your mind's eye or in your imagination, see yourself standing at the gateway of the third dimension. Breathe in, exhale out. Here you'll experience the duality, the right and the wrong, the good and the bad, lack, struggle. But now you're ready to let go of what is no longer serving you. As you breathe, let your beliefs and your programs and your stories gently dissolve, leaving only love in their place. Breathe in, exhale out. Next, feel yourself moving up to the fourth dimension, where time and emotions begin to soften. Here you notice a healing energy flowing through you, clearing any remaining resistance. Breathe in, exhale out. Feel your intuition growing and becoming your own personal guiding force. What do you know that you know? Breathe in, exhale out. Now gently ascend to the fifth dimension, where the energy shifts into pure love and unity. Breathe in, exhale out. Imagine your heart expanding with unconditional love for yourself and others. Breathe in, exhale out. Feel yourself in the connectedness of all of life. Breathe in, exhale out. And as you breathe, allow yourself to rise to the sixth dimension, where your soul's divine blueprint lives and resides. Feel the creative energy of the universe flowing through you, aligning you with your soul's highest wisdom and purpose. Breathe in, exhale out. And finally, drift into the seventh dimension, a space of pure oneness with the universe. Breathe in, exhale out. Here you feel you are fully connected to Source and the infinite possibilities that are available for you. Breathe in, exhale out. There is no separation, only divine connection, peace, and infinite love. Breathe in, exhale out. Rest in this space for a moment, feeling the pure light of your soul. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Allow yourself to feel and sense the energy of these higher dimensions integrating with every cell of your being, weaving in between every molecule, every fiber of your being. Knowing and remembering that you are forever connected to these realms of unity, love, and oneness. They've always been there for you, whether you remember them or not. If you're living a life of duality and third dimension, that's okay. You're still not wrong. But remembering that you too have a choice and you can choose a different frequency. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Just observe how different this frequency, this seventh dimension feels in your body, your mind, and your spirit. Breathe in, exhale out. Allow yourself to feel the gratitude, to feel the acknowledgement, to feel the empowerment of oneness, of the interconnectedness between all things. Maybe you can see or feel the grid that connects us all, the energy that is all the same, all rolled into one. Just as our cells and our bodies all have a place, we too each have a place in the cosmic body of the universe, making each cell unique and yet one all at the same time. Breathe in, exhale out. And then remembering that feeling, that vibration, that frequency as you slowly bring yourself back to the room, carrying the vibration of the higher frequencies and the higher dimensions with you. Remembering that feeling and remembering that you will always have those in the third dimension trying to drag you back down. Just stay in your bliss, stay in your energy, and invite them to a different possibility. There's something else available out there for all of us. And how does it get even better? So just allowing yourself to connect into the now, to this present moment. If you weren't here already, and just a reminder of some of the practical tools that you can use. Practicing gratitude to anchor in higher frequencies is a big one. It's one of my favorites anyway. Conscious breathing, and then of course lowering the walls and barriers. Because remember, when we have walls and barriers up, we're resisting something, right? So when we lower our walls and barriers, there's nothing to resist against. So if you have somebody who's like attacking you or has points of view or something like that, if you lower your walls and barriers, they won't have anything to push against. So it's one of my other favorite tools. And of course, asking questions, staying in the wonderment of it all. What else is possible? How does it get better than this? Great questions from Access Consciousness. And staying in the now. Like, how can you stay in the present moment and enjoy every moment? And what else would be possible if you embrace these higher frequencies, these different frequencies, different dimensions, even if everybody else around you decides to stay where they're at? I wonder. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I look forward to seeing you guys all next time. Have a great week.